I often sit and look at my grandkids. I watch the way they play, the way they talk, and I start to think about their future. I look at my youngest daughter too. And I ask myself, what kind of world will they grow up in? You see, the world is changing very fast. Many people say that almost 40% of the jobs we know today might disappear because of things like AI, robots, and nanotechnology. Machines are learning to think, work, and even talk like humans. So, I ask myself a very important question: how can I prepare them for that future? How can I help them not just survive but do well, be happy, and feel strong in a world that will be very different from ours? And you know what? After years of thinking, studying, and watching people, I realized something powerful. There are 3 main skills every person must learn if they want to do well in the future, no matter how much the world changes. The first skill is pattern recognition. Now, what does that mean? It means the ability to see what is happening again and again, to notice what repeats, what connects, and what comes next. When you learn to see patterns, something amazing happens: fear disappears. Think about it. When something scary happens, it's often because it's new or unexpected. But if you've seen that same thing before, you don't panic, you know what to do. When you recognize the pattern, you stop reacting with fear and start responding with confidence. Losers react. Leaders anticipate. That's the difference. Anticipation is power. When you see a storm coming, you don't wait until it hits you, you prepare. When you recognize the pattern in people, in business, or even in nature, you can take action before the problem begins. That's the power of pattern recognition. Think of anyone who's great: a great athlete, a great artist, or a great leader. What makes them stand out? They can see what others can't. They see patterns. A great basketball player knows where the ball will bounce before it hits the floor. A great musician knows the rhythm before it's played. A great parent knows what their child needs before the child says a word. When you learn to see patterns, you gain control. You start to understand the why behind what happens. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and you start saying, "I see what's happening, and I know how to move forward." The second skill is pattern utilization, learning how to use the patterns you see. It's one thing to recognize what's happening, it's another to use it to your advantage. You can see the pattern of rain and sun, but can you use it to grow your crops? You can see the pattern of people's emotions, but can you use it to help them heal, connect, and trust you? If you plant the same seeds, you'll always get the same kind of fruit. The smart person learns which seeds to plant and when. Let me give you an example. When you watch a great movie, you might think it's just luck that it feels so emotional or powerful. But it's not luck. It's mastery. The movie maker knows exactly where to move the camera to make you feel close. They know when to bring in the music to make your heart race. They understand what makes your emotions rise and fall. They're not guessing, they're using patterns. That's what makes them great. This second skill, using patterns, is what separates the good from the great. Many people can see what's happening, but very few know what to do with it. If you can use patterns wisely, you can change your life. You can build relationships that last, create a business that grows, or raise children who feel loved and strong. Because you're no longer guessing, you're choosing based on what you've learned and seen before. That's what mastery looks like. It's not magic. It's understanding and repetition. And then comes the third skill, and this one is where true greatness begins. It's called pattern creation. This is when you no longer just see or use what others have done, you start making something new. You begin to create your own path, your own rhythm, your own story. When a person learns the piano, they first copy someone else's music. They read the notes, play the songs, and repeat what others have written. That's pattern recognition. Then they learn to mix those notes and use them in new ways, that's pattern utilization. But one day, something magical happens. After enough practice, they stop following someone else's notes. They start writing their own. That's pattern creation. That's where real innovation comes from. That's how every great idea, invention, or movement is born. Someone saw what others did before them, but then they added their own voice. That's what I've tried to do in my life too. I've learned from so many great teachers before me. I've studied their ideas, their systems, their methods. I've stood on their shoulders, as the saying goes. But as the years went by, I didn't just copy what they did. I began to mix their ideas with my own experiences. I started creating new ways of helping people grow, think, and change. That's the stage where creation begins, and it's one of the most joyful stages in life. So, when I think about my children and grandchildren, I don't just want them to know facts or memorize lessons. The world will change too fast for that. What I want is for them to learn, how to see patterns, how to use them, and how to create new ones. If they can do that, they'll never be afraid of change. They'll see opportunity where others see problems. They'll see lessons where others see mistakes. Because here's the truth, when you can learn fast, when you can recognize and use patterns, there's nothing you can't master. Let's bring it back to something simple. When you were a child, you learned to walk. The first time you stood, you fell. The second time, you wobbled. The third time, you stayed up a bit longer. You were learning the pattern of balance. Soon, you recognized it. You learned to use it. You began to walk, then run. And later, you started to dance or play sports, creating your own movement. That's pattern creation. Life works the same way. Every skill, every goal, every dream starts with recognition, grows with utilization, and blossoms through creation. In this new world, with AI, robots, and technology, those who succeed will be the ones who can adapt fast. They'll be the ones who see patterns where others only see chaos. They'll be calm when others panic, because they'll understand what's really happening underneath the noise. If you can learn quickly and connect ideas, you can enter any new field, master any new tool, and thrive in any environment. The key isn't memorizing answers, it's learning how to see connections. So, if you're listening to this and wondering, what should I teach my kids? What should I focus on myself? Focus on these 3 skills. 1. Pattern recognition, see what's happening and understand it. 2. Pattern utilization, use what you know in real life. 3. Pattern creation, make something new and valuable from what you've learned. These 3 things will open every door, in every time, in every generation. We can't stop the world from changing. We can't stop machines from growing smarter. But we can teach our children and ourselves to be human in a deeper way, to think, to connect, to create. And when you do that, you'll never fear the future. You'll shape it. Because in the end, life isn't just about keeping up with the world. It's about becoming the kind of person who can see, use, and create the patterns that make the world itself. That's how you stay strong. That's how you stay alive. And that's how you keep growing, no matter what comes next.
Please like and subscribe for more videos.